Hi, Subbu. Good morning.
Hi Kapil, good morning, good evening. Hello
Okay.
everyone.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. So we can quickly start, right? My screen is visible to all of you.
Yes,
Yes, Kapil, yeah.
Yes, Kapil.
Okay. So we can go back. I'm directly jumping to topic because we already discussed like why we are doing it, why we are taking this initiative, and all those things we discussed. So let's start with Azure Data Factory directly. And why should we need to learn it? A small definition, what exactly it is, and then we can deep dive into the UI interfaces and other things. I will need your support, Subbu, and Raj support once I complete my slide, or in between if you guys have to show your screen. Most of the screenshots I have with me, so let's see like if we are not facing any difficulties. So basically, what is Azure Data Factory? It's a cloud-based data integration service that enable users to create, schedule, orchestrate data integration and transformation workflows. It allows you to integrate data from various sources into a unified kind of a data pipeline. A very simple definition, similar to what we are doing in Informatica, same things we can do it into Azure Data Factory. And why we are picking only ADF because of its similarity on the UI side with Informatica. Now, if we talk about what are the key components of ADF, so those are kind of a linked services which we will discuss. And this is a most important point. Like whenever we are connecting to any of the sources, linked service plays a most important role in connecting to sources and the targets. And in Data Factory, we used to call targets as our sink. Like we called source as source and targets as sink. So that is a common terminology that is being used in ADF. So sources are known as source, but in order to connect with every source, you have to connect it with the linked services, and then that source will act as your connector. So that is how ADF work. And targets are known as target. We do with this terminology we will not use, or we can interchangeably use with the sink. So sink is basically a target, and again it will connect to your link services, and then it will create a connector kind of a functionality in ADF. Remaining things are pretty much same. So data sets, we all know what data set is. Activities we will discuss in the next pipelines. We know data flows are kind of a transformations that we will be discussing on. It's a straight copy activity, HD insight, and some other transformations. Integration runtime is again an important concept. It's again similar to what in Informatica we have our runtime environments. Same thing is available in ADF side also. Subbu will walk us through these different types of runtime environment. It can be serverless, it can be managed VM. Like in our current setup, we are using managed VM kind of a runtime environment for Informatica because managed VM saves our cost. Serverless are pretty much costly. Now, second point why we picked it up, we already discussed because it has a user-friendly services. Because nowadays the thing is that everyone wants a low code, no code, right? No one wants a programming skill, writing down those codes. So ADF provide the same kind of a UI drag and drop functionality. It provide a graphical interface that allow users to drag, drop data sources, create data pipeline, monitor, something very similar, and we are used to do this. Now, coming back to three important services of ADF. So ADF easily integrates with Azure services. When we talk about Azure services, Synapse Analytic is one of the most important services of Azure, which is now in its Fabric infrastructure. So this is basically used for our semantic layer. Semantic layer means our final data set. In our projects, we are not working much on reporting side, so we don't used to come around it, around the Synapse Analytic, how it looks like, but it plays a major role. And right now, Azure is planning to move Synapse Analytic to Microsoft Fabric part of their ecosystem. Databricks is again the second service which works on the top of the data pipelines that are being created in ADF. So it is also one of the important services which can easily integrate with ADF. So that gives ADF a precedence over other ETL tools which are in their ecosystem, and similar to the Stream Analytics. Now, Stream is most popular thing and it is widely used nowadays. More and more projects are working on it because of its IoT thing, because of some kind of a IoT, you all know, like Internet of Things, and then there is a signal things which are coming. So what happened, like in bigger factories, for example, any refinery group, right? In refineries, you know that there are lots of oil and gas pipelines are working, right? And behind those pipelines, there are machineries working. And on the top of those machineries, there are sensors working, right? So for them, and then there's a tool called op UI. So this op UI continuously capture the data, like how this machine is working, like what is the temperature, let's say 100 degree, the temperature is at 1736, right? After 1 minute, it will again check the temperature. Okay, after 1 minute at 1737, it is called time series data. So it will keep on increasing the time series data if the temperature shoot out to 120 degree. Now this is a major problem in the refinery setup, right? No engineer, if the engineer get this kind of an alert on their phone, they will easily go to that pipeline and switch it off because the temperature drastically increases. So op UI is one of the functionality which captured this kind of a time series data, and these data will be feed to the stream analytics, and this is called the real-time data, which is playing a major role. Similarly, IoT is a major role. So as a ADF easily integrate with these kind of a services. Now coming back to the copy activity. Copy activity is a simple copy data, right? When we talk about our simple mapping, source to target transformations, right? There is no transformation in the middle. It will be a simple mapping. There will be a source and there will be a sink, and we are just moving the data from source to sink. That is called copy activity. Data flow and transformations, you all know, right? How it looks like. Control flow will be there, which will this is going to give us a kind of a decision making thing. We if kind of an statement, if we have to go to the A branch or we have to go to the B branch, something like that. Now handling various file formats. So ADF support all three kinds of a file format, that is CSV, JSON, and PARQ. Our project will mostly run on the CSV file, but yeah, it supports all three of them. Then pipeline orchestration. This is again a major functionality that ADF provides. So it will schedule and trigger the pipeline executions. No need for any external scheduler is not required, like Airflow or DAG functionality is not required. It's already inbuilt into data ADF. So ADF has their scheduler, something similar to what Informatica has. So here also on these sites also we are good. Now coming back to parameters and variable, you all know about the param files of Informatica. Something similar we can play in the ADF. Again, the link service will play here because link services are directly connected to our sources and targets. So when we talk about parameter, we will play with link services, we will play with our datasets pipelines, as well as we will use our parameters and variable for creating up of the dynamic pipelines. Like let's say our pipeline which is working for mock 1 wants to switch to mock 2, we will just change it the way we are doing it in Informatica. You all are aware about it and we are working on it. So those kind of use cases are available in this side. Now, one other good functionality we are getting is the Azure SQL database in ADF. Right now, we are connecting to our external SQL server, but ADF again provide their own SQL database, which is built on the top of SQL Server, which is good thing. So they have kept it very simple. So we can also use Azure SQL database inside the Azure ecosystem while working with ADF. ADF is cohesively connected with this database. Now, if we talk about authentications, like managed identity, service principal, and Key Vault. Key Vault, Subbu, you have already set it up, right? If you want to speak on authentication part, you can give a brief idea on these three things. What is service principal, if you want, or we can move ahead.
Yes, I will cover this one later, Kapil. This one Key Vault thing, yeah. Because we already implemented that Key Vault service in our IDMC, right? Same thing we can, yeah.
So we already implemented in Informatica. I think we'll be using the same Key Vault for this services. Then coming back to DevOps operations. So DevOps usually we in our project it is not there, but in all other projects, Azure DevOps is one of the key important thing that is being used. In JCI also this feature is extensively being used, which is being used by Dasu and the team that Pawan is using. So those all are Azure DevOps. So it is a different service, but Azure is very good into CI and CD side. Like when we create those pipelines, in order to make that ready for the production deployments, we can go and use DevOps integration. Then we talk about ADF basics, like what will be our role in this project. So we will be doing the same thing, data ingestion, then we will be doing cleansing, we will be doing basic transformations, and then restoring it to our blob location. That is what we will do with ADF. So quite lots of similarity with Informatica. If we talk about very common kind of a projects that are being created into this. These are like Azure Blob Storage, where we'll be using the landing table. Our CSV files will be stored over here. Then similarly, we will keep raw table